Welcome to Mishna study. Welcome to Masechet Peah, Perek Hayat Mishna Gimal. Over here, this Mishnah is really a continuation of last Mishnah. We started speaking, when are the poor people trusted? Over here, we're going to speak about what are they trusted with. So we ended off last Mishnah saying if it's given in its normal fashion, right? So our Mishnah is going to discuss. People usually give leket shicha and peah as wheat. Right. So now, if a poor person comes and says, "Oh, I received this as a loaf of bread, as my leket shicha and peah," do we trust him? So we're going to say no. We only trust how things are normally given out. So if he's claiming he received it in its normal fashion, then we trust him. If it's in its abnormal fashion, then we're not going to trust him. And the Mishnah is going to list different items. Ne'emanim ala hitim ve'enan ne'emanim lo ala kemach lo ala pat. נאמנים על השעורה של אורז, ואינם נאמנים עליו בין חי ובין מבושל. נאמנים על הפול, ואינם נאמנים על הגריסים בין חיים ובין מבושלים. נאמנים על השמן, לומר של מעשר עני הוא, ואינם נאמנים עליו, לומר של זיתי ניקוף. So they're trusted, the aniyim are trusted when it comes to hitim, because people usually give out leket, shicha, and peah are given out in its raw state of grain. And they're not trusted to say, I received flour or I received bread, right? I explained this based off Rambam over here. We don't trust them when they say, I received so-and-so. But let's say he comes and says, the owner gave me wheat, right? And gave me wheat, and I went ahead, ground it up, baked it, and turned it into a bread. So they are trusted at the time of Peah, right? At the time when people are collecting Peah in the field, right? That's what Rambam says over here in the Pirush Mishnah. It's actually missing though. He doesn't bring this down in the Halacha, in the Chibur, and it's interesting why. And I think a lot of Mefarshim actually discussed this. If it was Chozerbo, if it retracted from what he said over here in the Pirush Mishnah or not. Next part of the Mishnah is they're trusted over Se'orah Shel Orez, right? Se'orah Shel Orez literally means almost like a seorah is a barley of rice. That's its most literal translation. So Rambam is a little perplexed. What does it mean, barley of rice? So he thinks it's a shibolet shel orez, right? Meaning it's literally like a grain, right? Or it's a husk, right? It's a rice in its husk. So that's in its natural state. That's how they're trusted, right? Again, but they're not trusted on if they're saying I received this rice raw or cooked, right? That they're not trusted for. Ne'emanim al ha-ful, right? Ha-ful, right? That's ful, literally ful, and it's like a bean, and they're not trusted over girisin, right? Once this ful is actually ground up. Again, whether it's raw or it's cooked, right? And it literally high means alive, right? So Rambam explains here how do we know high means raw? He quotes the pasuk from the Korban Pesach, lo tochelu mimenu na, right? You can't eat it na meaning you can't eat it raw. And the Targum over there is la techlun mineh kad hai. Right, high, you can't eat it. Right, the translation of high of na is high. So high, right over here, interestingly enough, hayim in our Mishnah is really from the Aramaic word, right? Aramaic understanding of raw. Ne'emanim al shemen, they're trusted over oil, right? To say that it's ma'aser ani. They received oil as ma'aser ani. Why? Because people normally give oil out as ma'aser ani. They're not just giving out olives; they give also oil. So they're trusted because that's how it's normally given out. But they're not trusted to say that I received this oil from zeteni kuf. Zeteni kuf are the leftover olives on the tree. Right? Rambam learns from the pasuk in Yeshayahu, right? Keno kef zait. Right? So it was the leftovers, the lousy olives, that whatever was left at the end. And they're not trusted to say that I received oil from these leftover olives. Why? Because the homeowner doesn't make oil from such a small amount. We trust them to say, I received, if a person could go ahead and say, a person could generally, they could grind up, small amounts of things, but no one's going to actually press olives in small amounts to turn them into oil. So we don't trust them over here to say that they received it as